Glenn Maxwell's unbeaten 201 against Afghanistan. Incredible innings. I mean, you have Kapil's unbeaten 175 against Zimbabwe, Tunbridge Wells 1983. That's an innings no one has seen except for probably a few correspondents. But then that knock has acquired a very mythical range because you haven't seen it, and therefore the more you hear about it, it becomes part of myth. It becomes part of legend. The good thing about Maxwell is there was live telecast. His innings was almost like a highlights reel anyway, so imagine you make a highlights reel out of it. It's going to be stunning, and it's going to last as long as technology lasts.
What was also great about the knock was that it was the perfect exhibition of amazing hitting that ODI cricket needed, because ODI cricket of late has come under criticism for being very predictable and not seeing very close encounters, especially in this World Cup. But this knock really showed why ODI cricket is still valuable. It gives you enough time to come back from an almost sure defeat to a magnificent victory, and that's what Maxwell's innings did.
The best part was, earlier that day only ICC had called Virat Kohli's shot against, the famous shot against Harris Rauf down the ground as the shot of the century, and then Maxwell happened, and it just defies physics how Maxwell, without any kind of footwork, how can you pick a ball which is going on the other end and you can just smash it out of the park? It beats me, and I'm sure it would beat a lot of guys who are into stats and also the techniques and the intricacies of the game.
Nobody thought that Australia will be winning that game from 91 for 7, and then it was a Maxwell show all the way. And mind you, he was badly cramped, he couldn't move his feet. Afghanistan in an ideal world should have bowled at the 7th stump, maybe a little out the line, but they didn't do, and Maxwell made the most of the opportunities. It was Maxwell all over the park, all over the Wankhede Stadium. So that has to be the best innings in the tournament so far.
The first one has to be Henrik Klaasen's amazing 100 against England in the first match at Wankhede. I think it was on October 21. More than overcoming a mediocre English attack, which wasn't that big a deal for Klaasen. It was the conditions. It was October heat at its peak. Mind you, in Western India, October heat is as difficult to deal with as in April or May. So to actually overcome that and keep himself pegging to complete that 100, moreover stay on till the end of the innings to completely bat England out of the game, was a great feast to watch. It was actually memorable. And then the penultimate day of league stage, what Mitchell Marsh did to Bangladesh bowling attack. Yes, the match was largely inconsequential, but Mitch Marsh at his best. I was privileged to witness Mitch Marsh at his best during the 2021 T20 World Cup in Dubai. Here I was again, Mitch Marsh at crease at his favourite ground. Mind you, he is one of the only two overseas players to have featured in both of Pune's IPL franchises, and with the other one who has in fact led both the teams, Steven Smith at the other end. Mitch Marsh just went berserk. Bangladesh, less said about their overall World Cup journey, the better it is. But Mitch Marsh at his best is an experience, and almost 20,000 people who turned up far off from Pune to be there would be mesmerized by it. And I'm sure that innings of 170 odd, 177 not odd I think, would stay with each one of those 20,000 odd guys for the rest of their lives.
Best innings has to be Rachin Ravindra's 100 against England in the campaign opener in Ahmedabad. Two reasons. This is his first World Cup and it came against, then favourites England. I consider him to be the heir apparent to Kane Williamson. He has got classical stroke play and the ability to switch gears when needed.
Rassie van der Dussen's 133 against New Zealand in Pune was probably the best innings. He has been the anchor for South Africa throughout the World Cup. So in this particular match, he got a chance to bat beyond the 40th over. This was his second 100 of the World Cup. So he also showed his skills in boundary hitting. He hit quite a lot of sixes, more than what he had managed before this particular match. His 100 also helped South Africa to a big win, which eventually proved vital in the semi-final qualification. Oh, this has to be the easiest pick. Mohammad Shami's 4-4 against England at Lucknow. There was a possibility of India not being able to overcome the England side, but when India started bowling, the whole script changed. Bumrah took the early wicket, but it was Shami who ripped through the whole side. There was a particular spell. Ben Stokes could not score a run for, I think, 10 balls. Shami kept beating his outside edge, to the point that Ben Stokes lost his head and tried a very, very wild shot, losing his stumps. He'll complete his spell with a 4-4. That has to be the best spell I have watched in this World Cup.
Fortunate enough to witness that at the Wankhede Stadium with Mohammad Shami. Speaking of 5 wickets against Sri Lanka. I mean, bundling out Sri Lanka for a 50, around 50-52 has happened in the past. Mohammad Shiraz has shown that to us in the Asia Cup final. But who would have thought that would happen in Wankhede Stadium as well during the World Cup?
Best spell would be Mohammad Shami's fifer against Sri Lanka. I'm aware that he took those wickets against the tail, but the impact that he had was mesmerizing and spellbinding at once. And to think of it, he wouldn't even have played if Hardik Pandya didn't get injured. So stars aligning for India, and it's good to see that he's seamlessly fit into the playing 11. He should have always started right from game 1, but well, better late than never.
I would say Mohammad Shami, Dharamshala, because he was benched in the previous games very strangely. I mean, I found it very inexplicable that the Indian team management preferred Shardul Thakur over Mohammad Shami. I mean, with due respect to Shardul Thakur, I mean, he does have a knack of taking wickets, but he also sometimes tends to bowl those donkey drops and gets hit. But I guess the logic was you have Hardik Pandya as an all-rounder, and then because the tail is a little weak, supposedly, so you want a Shardul as an insurance package. But then, in a way, it was a blessing in disguise that Hardik got injured, and therefore you bring in Mohammad Shami as a pure bowler, and then you bench Shardul and you get Sky in as a pure batter. That was a lovely spell, and he was on the money from the first ball. He was there, the particular coin you keep on the pitch, where the batter doesn't know whether he has to move forward or play backward, should he drive or lead the ball. That was an incredible spell, 5 for 54 against New Zealand at Dharamshala.
And it was amazing, beautiful exhibition of seam bowling. And again, it came against an opposition India has historically struggled with in ICC tournaments. So I think that made it all the more special.
Sitting out for 4 games at the start of the World Cup to coming in at a time when India needed him the most because Hardik Pandya was out with an injury. Shami was brought on in the game against New Zealand in Dharamshala, and he was brought on as the first change bowler, and I think in the 9th over, of the very first delivery that he bowled, he got Will Young to take the long walk back to the hut. Shami's return, not only in that match, in the course of the whole World Cup, has been nothing short of genius, rather. And he has been in terrific form. Something happens to him during World Cups, and that is why Mohammad Shami will be my pick for the best spell of the World Cup.
My favorite moment covering a World Cup match this year has been probably in Lucknow. That incident was a little scary, and luckily nobody was injured. It was the sandstorm that came into the Ekana Stadium, which resulted in the branding of the tournament falling off, and it fell onto the stands. Luckily nobody was injured, and luckily there was not too much crowd the crowd could be moved around so that they wouldn't get injured. But it was quite a thrilling moment. It was because moments before that there was the electricity in the press box was fluctuating, and then there was a sandstorm that came in and enveloped the stadium, and the play was stopped, and then you had even stronger winds that came in, and then which resulted in the branding falling off. It was quite an apocalyptic moment, and for a long time nobody really knew what was happening. I think that was quite a memorable moment.
So I had to fly into Lucknow, take a very late midnight 3 a.m. flight to reach Lucknow, and I could check into my hotel at 11 o'clock. So I had reached Lucknow airport at early morning 5. I had nothing to do, so I slept near the baggage claim area for like, I didn't even sleep properly. Like, so few hours I stayed there, and from there I went to the old city part of Lucknow. I went to Mubin. I tried it's an iconic restaurant there. I tried the nihari and the kulcha, superb, like mind blowing. And from there I went to Tunde. I had the kebabs, the iconic Tunde kebabs, and so I just whiled away my time so that I could reach the 11 o'clock mark so that I can check into my hotel. So that particular period where I was just roaming around the whole city having the food, I had the Malai Kulfi wala thing also, in addition to the Nihari as well as the Tunde kebab. So yeah, that was my favorite memory from the World Cup tour this time.
Best moment will be Afghanistan's clinical run chase against Pakistan, which resulted in a great victory at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. The Chepauk ground, of course, is shrouded in history, right from murals about the 99 win of Pakistan here to current as 300, and I assume a few years down the line, in some form or shape, Afghanistan's clinical win will also be represented here. So yeah, that would be my favorite moment.
I have visited Mumbai, I have visited Ahmedabad during this tournament. What has remained unparalleled for me is the support of the Afghan fans. We are 50, 60 odd people, mostly students. They have travelled all around Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Chennai, supporting the Afghan players with the huge banners which read that, Rashid Khan, Naam hi kafi hai. And they have been doing that. It has not been a very easy task to get Afghan visas, but these students have, who are students in various universities of this country, have ensured that they are there to support their team. There have been slogans in Pashto, they have been chanting songs, they have been doing everything to make their team proud. And their team also gave it back to them with 4 wins. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it to the semi-final, but this has been a tournament to remember for Afghanistan and its fans.
The best moment for me would be Virat's 100. When he got to the 100 against South Africa at the Eden Gardens, when he equaled Tendulkar's all-time record of 49 ODI hundreds, there was a sense of restraint in the way he got it. He got it, obviously raised his bat and he looked at the sky, he's probably thinking about his father. But there wasn't much of body language at play, and it looked as if, okay, part of the journey, I've equaled my hero, my idol, but the World Cup campaign is still alive and maybe I need to score a little more, for the team. I thought it was a very special moment because it showed a lot of maturity and also about a man who's at ease with himself.
It just couldn't have been more beautiful. The setting, of course, it was the Eden Gardens, where we have seen so many iconic games take place, and the kind of crowd that it got, the kind of support that the Indian team got, all made it a moment that you would always cherish. So obviously Virat Kohli's 49th ODI century has to be my pick for my favorite moment in this World Cup.
When it comes to spectator experience, you make them walk for at least 2 kilometers, even at Wankhede, despite the train station right next door. Very few can actually walk a real short distance and take their seats. So be it Mumbai or Pune, you make them walk for at least 2 kilometers. Let's not even get about the traffic snarls they go through to actually make it to the stadium. Just treat them slightly respectfully. I saw a granny possibly in her 60s and a 5 or 6 year old kid, both taking a real long walk into the stadium in Pune the day India played against Bangladesh over there. That for me kind of summed up what this World Cup means to the whole of India and what the spectators go through when it comes to watching live cricket in India. Let's hope the first phenomenon stays on for the years to come, and the second one, that's the spectator experience, keeps improving drastically and at a rapid pace.
India, obviously India. I just hope the cricket's favorite cliche, the law of averages, doesn't catch up with them. India is doing phenomenally well, be it chasing, be it batting first and setting good targets, good totals. The batting is in sync, the bowling is absolutely top class. It's probably the most gun bowling attack in this World Cup. You know, just for Bumrah, Shami, Siraj, Kuldeep, and Jadeja. India has always done well in the league phase. And then you enter the semi-finals, and then there is a bust up there. I just hope it doesn't get into that zone. But if you ask me who I'd pick as a favourite to win this World Cup, it's India, obviously.
Difficult question, but I think it should be India because this is the perfect opportunity for the Indian team. It has picked up really, really well. Remains undefeated. Of course, it has to ensure that it doesn't fall once again in the semi-final. That is one area that has affected us in the last few outings. If they can overcome the semi-final, then I think India will be the side to beat. Like, you know, it's India's tournament to lose. One of the bowlers are doing everything that they could. The batting is looking solid. The fielding has been very, very, very good. And everything put together, this is perhaps India's best opportunity to win the World Cup after 2011.
Well, it has to be Australia. I know India are in barnstorming form, but let's not forget Australia are peaking at the right time. Despite all the injury setbacks, they've managed to put together 11 men who are contributing, in crucial points. Of course, Glenn Maxwell's form is going to be very, very important for them heading to the semi-finals. Fingers crossed, Australia will win yet another World Cup this time.
It's quite obvious, quite simple that it's India. They have won every game they have played so far. So it looks inevitable, but yeah, India has to be the favourite. If not for India, I would say South Africa because they are a side which hasn't won a World Cup yet. They are yet to win a semi-final match yet. So I hope they overcome that particular jinx and go on to win the World Cup if India doesn't win the World Cup.
My pick for the tournament winner is Australia. I know it's not a very popular opinion in India, but I feel that Australia is really peaking at the right time and peaking very dangerously. And they really seem to have what it takes to win ICC tournaments. They started off very poorly with 2 losses, and then they came back. And then again, the way they came back and won the game against Afghanistan really showed that they can hold their nerve. And I think that's really what it takes. What it takes for teams to win ICC tournaments.
For some reason, I feel it's going to be New Zealand versus South Africa, and South Africa as the first time champion. Let's see if it happens. You tell us your picks. That's it for now.